This week, the carnival ends and Lent begins. 3 new spiders discovered down under. Kenya's 3-million-year-old tools, and introducing the Lord of the Rings amphibian.
Over here! Hey, listen up!
Newsy Paloozy. Hello and welcome to Newsy Paloozy, the splishiest, splashiest pool of news around.
World news at that.
You said it. I'm Leela, and my sidekick here is...
Hi, I'm Lindy, otherwise known as Leela's mom.
You said it again. And this week, Christians around the world are wrapping up their season of Carnival, and many are beginning Lent. We'll tell you why they party and why they stop. We'll also have a special report from Germany about how the festivities there have a special twist. Also, some of the world's most ancient tools ever are discovered in Kenya. We'll tell you where and why it's important. Speaking of discoveries, 3 new species of spiders are found. Where else but Australia? 2 are ferocious hunters, and another one looks like a sweetie, kind of. That's not all. A new species of a tailless amphibian is discovered in South America, and it's so, peculiar looking, it's been given a rather lofty, or should I say, lordly name. Alrighty then, let's dive on in. First up is
the big news story
of the week.
Today marks the end of the carnival season and the start of Lent.
Lent, isn't that an Easter thing? And wait, how has it been carnival season and I didn't know about it?
Well, location. If we lived in New Orleans in the U.S. or in so many South American cities, especially Brazil, and even across Europe and a few other Christian pockets around the world, you'd know for sure it was carnival season because it would sound a bit like this for weeks.
What's that?
Mardi Gras in New Orleans, of course.
Mardi what?
Mardi Gras. It's actually French for Fat Tuesday, but more on that in a minute. Basically, it's weeks of carnivals, parades, performers marching down streets, dancing, and loud revelry or festivities. And the same happens in loads of cities around the world, especially in Brazil. But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up. So, the Christian carnival season actually starts at the end of Christmas.
Christmas?
Yep. You know there's actually 12 days of Christmas, right?
Oh yeah, you won't let us take the decorations down until the 12th day of Christmas passes.
Certainly not. So, the day after is called Epiphany.
As in a light bulb goes on in your head when you have an idea or an epiphany, or the Taylor Swift song, Epiphany. Amazing.
Okay, well, a moment of sudden realization. Yes, that's Epiphany. But in biblical terms, it's known as the day the 3 wise men or kings visited Christ after he was born. That's why it's also called 3 Kings Day.
And there's carnivals to celebrate that?
Well, not really. Carnival is more about when the season ends than when it begins.
Okay.
So it ends, well, today, Ash Wednesday, which is about 40 days before Easter.
Which is also the start of Lent. That's when you have to give up something, right?
Well, right. In olden times, the Catholic Church forbade people from eating food that came from flesh, as in meat, milk, eggs, cream, fat.
So they became vegan?
Well, not in those terms, but yes, it was a period of abstaining from things that give you pleasure, even, or especially, parties.
Oh, I'm beginning to understand now. Carnival season is about enjoying the things you have to give up.
Exactly.
Like staying up late and watching lots of videos the last week of summer, because you know you won't be able to do that when school starts.
You got it. And what day is the biggest party of all then?
Oh, the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday.
Bingo! And for some people, like in New Orleans, that's called Fat Tuesday. Others say Shrove Tuesday, and others even call it Pancake Day, like they do in Britain.
Because they really know how to party.
Yes, with pancakes, indeed. Well, every country and community have their different take. And that's what makes this world so darn interesting, you know. For instance, in Germany, it's known as Carnival or Fasching. And for many there, it's more like an end of winter, here comes spring party. And that's not all. We have a new reporter, Nandini Parekh, who lives in Germany and has this report.
In modern times, people celebrate Fasching as the end of winter. There are big parades and street carnivals across all major cities in Germany. People dress up in costumes and show a completely fun side of themselves. One will also find groups of people dressed in the same costumes and taking part in the parades. This also signifies a sense of unity. So if you visit any German-speaking cities, don't be surprised if you see people dressed as pirates, animals, clowns, fairy tales characters, or anything else one can imagine. It's not Halloween, but it's Fasching and Carnival time. This is Nandini Parekh reporting for Newsy Poo Loosey.
Oh wow, that's so interesting, Nandini.
Yeah, thank you so much for that report.
I thought, doing this podcast for the last 2 years, I knew most of the world's celebrations, but there are so many.
I know, right? Well, if you listeners know of a celebration or festival that's being celebrated in your corner of the world, then do tell us all about it, and we can feature that story on Newsy Paloozy.
Visit the Contact Us page of our website. That's newsypaloozy.com. That's like a pool, like a swimming pool. POOLOOZI.com.
And now a story from the past.
And when she says the past, she means 2.9 million years ago.
Yes, tools that have been buried for millions of years along the shores of Africa's Lake Victoria in Kenya have been discovered. These tools may have been the oldest example yet of our ancestors' technological prowess.
Prowess is a fancy way of saying you have great skills at something. And did they ever?
The tools were not just used to do ordinary things like pound vegetables and fruit, but also butcher huge hippopotamuses. 2.9 million years ago, they had tools to do that.
Impressive.
This is evidence tools were used by other branches of early humans, not just the ancestors of Homo sapiens, as in, us, the species to which all modern human beings belong.
What's that? I'll tell you what. That's the halftime bell, which means it's time to hear what's making news around the rest of the world. Hold on tight. It's
Around the World in 80 Seconds.
Hold tight.
U.S. President Joe Biden issues a rallying cry that, quote, Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. This comes after he made a surprise visit to the Ukrainian capital. He says democracies around the world are growing stronger in the face of autocracy, which is a system where one person has all the power. Facebook and Instagram are going to start charging for verifying accounts, following Elon Musk's lead as he did the same with Twitter, which charges for its two-factor authentication. Attention Minecraft fans, get ready to dig, discover, and blossom. Mojang, the makers of the video game, say new features will be in the next update. That's 1.20. And did you see the picture of the cheetah with 3 heads? Okay, I should say the 3 cheetahs standing so close together, it creates quite the optical illusion. A wildlife photographer spent 6 hours in the rain getting the picture. But wow, it's worth it. Yes, there's a link to it in our transcript.
As ever, thank you so much for that whippity-wappity, zippity-zappity rap of what's making headlines elsewhere in the world, Mum.
As ever, you're most welcome, Leela. And now,
Warning, stand back all arachnophobes.
As in people who are deeply afraid of, as in have a phobia of, spiders.
Like me.
Yes, this story is not for you, arachnophobes.
No way, because 3 new spider species have been discovered in Australia, and they aren't pretty.
Well, that's debatable. One looks like my favorite British candy, licorice all sorts. You know, those black candies with baby blue, pink, and white highlights. Yum.
Well, you wouldn't want to eat these. Trust me. For more on this story, let's cut across to our new correspondent, Taya Chandrasekharan, who just happens to be part Australian and, also not a spider lover. Sorry, Taya.
Thanks, Leela. I'm happy to be part of the team, but yikes, what a story. So, a few days ago, a team of 20 scientists and teachers went to southeastern Australia on what was basically an 11-day spider hunt. Not my idea of fun, but they wanted to catalog, as in make a detailed list, new spider species. So, what did they find? Oh, none other than a spider that wraps itself around a tree branch in camouflage, blending in so well that it becomes, and I quote, a ferocious hunter. Horrible! And then there's the tiny jumping spider that they say looks like a licorice all-sort candy. Okay, it's a bit disco looking, but it's still not what I'd call cute. And did I mention the other so-called warrior huntsman spider with a shield on its chest? While spider cataloging might not be my idea of fun, it is good that these little creatures have been discovered. Because if a species isn't known, it can't be protected from going extinct. And then, what would people like me and Leela have to be scared of? I'm Taya Chandra from Newsy Paloozy.
Thanks a lot, Taya. Well done for covering a story about a topic that freaks you out.
Yeah, nice to have you on board. Of course, we are looking for a correspondent who is actually living in Australia too. So if any of you listeners down under are interested in joining the Newsy Paloozy team, then get in touch with us.
Either ping us on social media, Insta, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, or write to us directly at contact@newsypaloozy.com. That's POOLOOZI.com.
And finally, let's see what the Lucky Dip Machine has in store for us this week.
Step right up.
Step right up.
Have a go at the Lucky Dip Machine.
The Lucky Dip Machine.
What's it going to be today, eh?
An oddball, no doubt.
An oddball, no doubt.
Well, I think the Lucky Dip Machine was feeling bad that our new correspondent had to do a story about spiders, which he cannot stand. And,
Oh, no, your turn now, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I think I know what this story is about then.
Yes, frogs. I do not like frogs. But what to do? There's some big and, well, kind of odd frog news. And I gotta give the news, even if I can't bear it.
Go on, Leela. You got this. You can do it.
Yes, cue the music, Mama. I need all the extra help I can get. Scientists in the South American country of Ecuador discovered a newfound species of stream frog. This is no ordinary frog, oh no, but a tailless amphibian with pale pink eyes and gold speckled toes. That looks like a creature from Middle-earth, as in something from a Tolkien book. You know, J.R.R. Tolkien, as in the author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. That's why the researchers who discover it named it Hyloskirtus tolkieni, but it's already been nicknamed the Lord of the Rings frog. To be precise, H. tolkieni is 2.6 inches long, that's 6.5 centimeters, and though it has a grayish-green and yellow color, it's covered in black stripes and spots, and has very intense, dusty pink eyes with black irises.
Well done. You got through it. That makes me very hoppy. Get it?
Oh, that's a bad one, Mama. But speaking of being happy, do you know why frogs are so happy?
Nope.
Because they eat whatever bugs them.
Ba-dum-bump. And it's time to wrap up the podcast with the top 5 facts heard today. Fab fact number 1. Carnival season for many Christian communities is over. Which day marks the end of the season? Fat Tuesday, otherwise called Shrove Tuesday or sometimes Pancake Day. Fab fact number 2.
And what comes after Carnival for 40 days or so, which marks a period of abstaining or giving up something that gives you pleasure? Lent.
Fab fact number 3. Researchers unearthed 2.9 million-year-old tools in Kenya, providing evidence tools were used by other branches of early humans, not just the ancestors of Homo sapiens. Who are Homo sapiens? Us, as in the species to which all modern humans belong. Fab fact number 4.
3 new spider species have been discovered in Australia, including a camouflaging hunter that wraps itself around a tree branch. What's the word for people who are afraid of spiders? Arachnophobes.
Fab fact number 5. A previously unknown species of frog is discovered in Ecuador and named after writer J.R.R. Tolkien for its Middle-earth looking features. What books is Tolkien most famous for? The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And don't forget, if you want to test yourself later on, then go to the Lucky Dip page of our website, newsypooloozy.com. That's POOLOOZI, and take this quiz online in your own time.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Newsy Paloozy.
Except to say,
thanks for the reply to us reading your emails, Saffron.
yeah.
If you enjoyed this dip in the coolest pool of news and information, then smash that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or Alexa, or wherever you get your podcasts.
While you're at it, give us a good rating, or better still, leave us a review. Go on, we'll read it out loud if you do.
All right then, see you next week in the Happy Splashy Giant Newsy Paloozy.